Private Members Business Notice number 4, motion on International Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day.
The member for Werriwa.
I move the motion relating to the International Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day in the terms at which it appears in the notice paper. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. When a family loses a baby by miscarriage, stillbirth or in the first month of life, they lose the what should have been. Every couple waiting for a child dreams of what their family will look like, what personality traits the baby will have, will they be sporting or academic, have brown hair or red, the list goes on. But a baby's death puts a quick stop to those plans and leaves a void and destroys hope. The 15th of October 2020 was International Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day. It is a day for bereaved parents and families to remember the lives lost each year to miscarriage, stillbirth and neonatal death. It's also a day to remember those healthcare professionals whose words and touch make so many positive memories for families. I remember one particular midwife, so many years later, who, when she met our family, treated our baby not as a statistic but as a person. I didn't get to tell her then, because of everything else that followed, just how much of a difference she made to me and my husband. I can only imagine how difficult it has been for families and healthcare professionals with the restrictions of COVID and the isolation which would not have allowed families to make all of the memories that which in other circumstances would be possible. I want to acknowledge all the healthcare professionals, doctors and nurses and other ancillary staff who have provided that support to families this year. Approximately 106,000 Australians will be touched by the loss of a baby. This is 6 babies yesterday, today and tomorrow who will not reach their full potential and who leave a missing piece in the families they leave behind. Recently, there's been much coverage about the tragic circumstances of the US singer John Legend and his wife Chrissy Teigen and their heart-wrenching images they shared after the loss of their 3rd baby, a son Jack. I acknowledge their heartbreak and sorrow. Their loss reminds us all that pregnancy, stillbirth or neonatal loss can happen to anyone, whatever their access to medical care. Overall, Australia is one of the safest places in the world to have a baby. But even here, over 100,000 pregnancies will end without a healthy baby to take home. That's why groups such as Red Nose, SANS, Miracle Babies, the Stillbirth Foundation, Bears of Hope and Pink Elephants are so crucially important to support families grieving their loss for their babies. These groups support and help mothers and fathers and grandparents and siblings negotiate not just the first few weeks and months after the loss of a baby, but through subsequent pregnancies, which are often difficult as they bring back so many negative memories. Unfortunately, having a good record can also cause isolation and stigma when a baby doesn't come home. Stress, anxiety and constant worry never leave a family that has experienced the loss of a baby. In Australia, the statistics tell us that 6 babies will die each day, and that figure has not really changed since 1998. More research needs to continue to address these stubborn statistics. In 2017, in Australia, 2,924 babies died in the perinatal period. 3/4 were stillborn and the remaining 751 were neonatal deaths for many and varying reasons, such as prematurity, infection or abnormalities. But for Indigenous Australian families, these statistics are much worse. They are almost twice as likely to experience the loss of a baby to stillbirth or neonatal death than the Australian population at large. Mothers who are considered economically disadvantaged are also more likely to have complications in their pregnancies that mean their babies will not survive. This rate also has not changed in the past 2 decades. More work needs to be done to improve the health outcomes for all mothers and to improve the outcomes for all families into the future. October, and specifically the 15th of October, recognises those families for whom someone is always missing, to celebrate birthdays, Christmas, graduation and all the family memories. It is about supporting parents and grandparents, mums and dads, and recognising the loss that is rarely spoken about. Talking about their feelings and concerns will help families better cope with the future that lies ahead. I offer my condolences to all families that are touched by the commemorations this month.